We spend so much time trying to write that one perfect AI prompt, don't we? But what if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? What if the key to unlocking AI's real power isn't about giving better commands, but about building a totally different kind of relationship? So let's explore this idea, how we can shift our thinking from AI as just a tool to AI as a creative teammate.
This quote, it just hits home, right? It points to that feeling we all know. Our best ideas, they never show up when we're staring at a blank page trying to force them out. No, they pop into our heads when our minds are wandering. And in those moments, don't you just wish you had someone right there to help you grab that idea before it disappears?
I mean, just get a picture of this in your head. Winston Churchill, literally in his bathtub, dictating speeches that would shape history. And his assistant, she wasn't just typing. She understood his voice, she knew the context, she got his intent. She could take these scattered, half-formed thoughts and help turn them into powerful prose. That's the dream, right? The ultimate personalized assistant.
Okay, so here is the wild part. That level of dedicated, intuitive support, which was once a luxury reserved for, the most powerful people on the planet, is now something we can all have. A powerful, context-aware assistant that's available 24/7. So that begs the question. If we all have this incredible power at our fingertips, why aren't we all getting Churchill-level results? And that question, well, it leads us right to the heart of the problem. It's something researchers are starting to call the realization gap. It's this massive, massive disconnect between what AI can do and what most of us are actually doing with it. To really get our heads around this gap, we've got to look at the work of Jeremy Utley at Stanford. This guy has spent his entire career studying innovation. So when generative AI came along, he zeroed in on one huge question. How does this stuff really change our ability to solve problems? And what he found is, well, it's pretty staggering. The research shows that AI has the potential to improve the quality of our work by up to 40%. 40! But here's the real kicker. Fewer than 10% of us are actually seeing those kinds of gains. That enormous empty space between those two bars, that is the realization gap, right there in front of you.
But it gets even weirder. Utley's research dug up something that is just genuinely shocking. For a whole lot of people, AI didn't just fail to help them, it actually made them less creative. I mean, how is that even possible? And more importantly, what can we do about it?
Well, the solution starts with a mindset shift. It's one of those things that's both incredibly simple and, at the same time, kind of profound. We basically need to flip the entire way we interact with AI on its head. Think about it. We've all been trained to treat AI like some kind of answer machine, right? We ask, it answers. But what happens if we reverse that? What if we're the ones who ask the AI to start asking us the questions? That little change, that's where things get really interesting.
So here's a practical way you can try this out. Next time you open up an AI, frame it as an expert consultant. Give it a role. Then give it one job. Interview me about my problem. Tell it to ask you questions, one at a time, until it has enough context to give you really smart recommendations. See, by forcing the AI to probe and question you, you're feeding it all that rich, nuanced context it needs to get beyond those generic first-level answers.
But, okay, does this whole interview technique actually work in the real world? Is it just a neat trick? Well, take a look at this number, 7,000. Any idea what that could possibly be? That is 7,000 days of human labor saved. And get this, it was all thanks to a tool built by a park ranger named Adam Reimer after a single 45-minute session using this exact AI interview method. He automated the super tedious paperwork process, and that one conversation he had is now saving the entire National Park Service thousands of workdays every single year. Now that is the power of this shift.
And that story, it really gets to the heart of all this. The people who are getting these unbelievable results from AI. They're not just using a clever technique. They're adopting a completely different mindset. They've stopped treating AI like it's just a simple tool, and they've started treating it like a teammate.
The real difference between these two mindsets shows up the second the AI gives you a mediocre result, which it will. Someone with a tool mindset just throws their hands up and says, "Oh, this thing doesn't work," and they give up. But someone with a teammate mindset, they see that first draft as just a starting point. They coach it, they give feedback, they say, "Okay, that's not quite it, let's try coming at this from another angle." So what does treating AI like a teammate actually look like day to day? Well, it means coaching it, giving it specific constructive feedback. It means having it interview you, like we just talked about. You can even use it to role play a tough conversation you need to have, helping you prepare for the real thing. You're not just barking commands anymore, you're in a real back and forth collaboration. Now, of course, this whole teammate relationship, it's not a one-way street. Your AI partner is only ever going to be as good as what you bring to the table. And that reminds me of this really powerful quote from the artist Lecrae, who said, "Inspiration is a discipline. It's not just some magical thing that happens to you, it's something you have to actively work on and cultivate." And this is so important to remember. We all have access to basically the same AI models. The technology itself isn't the variable here. You are. The real difference in the final output comes from what you bring to that conversation, your unique experience, your point of view, and that inspiration that you've worked to build up. Okay, so let's start to bring this all together. How does this teammate mindset actually help us get past those boring, good enough results and create something that's genuinely exceptional? I just love this definition of creativity. Apparently, it came from a 7th grader in Ohio, which makes it even better. It's so simple, but it's so profound. Creativity is just the discipline of doing more than the first thing you think of. It's all about pushing past that first, most obvious idea. And that right there brings us to the great paradox of AI today. Its biggest strength, the fact that it can give you a pretty good answer like instantly, is also its biggest trap. It's just so easy to accept that first idea and move on. The teammate mindset is the thing that helps you fight that temptation. It's what encourages you to collaborate, to iterate, and to push beyond good enough to find something truly special. Look, if you take just one single thing away from all this, let it be this idea right here. The most powerful shift you can possibly make is to stop thinking about how you use AI and start thinking about how you work with it. Because when you make that simple shift, everything changes. The AI stops being just a tool for getting stuff done and becomes a true partner in your thinking process. Which really leaves just one question for you to think about. What kind of teammate will your AI be?